That is not me. How many times have you said this? When someone confronts you with something they want you to try, how many times have you gone ahead and said, that is not me? So who are you? I want you to pause this video for 5 seconds and write down who you are. Go ahead, I'm waiting. So what did you come up with? I could assume that you came up with tags. Tags that describe who you are. Tags that help you define who you are. That help you define who other people are. We use tags to identify ourselves, to identify others. And that's just what we're talking about today. So why do we use tags? Well, we use these tags essentially to help us identify people in their essential social standings, where they're at in their life, essentially what they're doing with their life. If they're an active person, someone may say, well, I'm a rock climber, or I do jujitsu, or, on the side, I garden, right? These are all tags, and they can also be tags associated with a particular career that you have. Maybe you're an entrepreneur, or maybe you are a person that's a programmer, a nurse, a dentist, whatever the case is. There are a bunch of tags, and getting that tag helps us kind of assess the situation before we really get to know people. And this in itself could be a big issue, as you can tell, because you come in with this pre-notion of what to expect from that person that you're talking about. And if these tags hit specific categories, then you kind of judge people on their value from that scale. But this is where it can really be an issue, because a lot of times we will use these tags to identify people, and some people use these tags to just write people off completely. And this is not at all where you want to be. You want to be able to understand that everybody has something to teach you. You have to eliminate those tags. Now, those tags are put there for a purpose to essentially try to help us navigate through life. Our brain is essentially wired through our experiences to associate those particular tags with, if something is essentially good or bad in our life, and steer us away from danger, or essentially areas in our life that we want to kind of get away from and more guide our way to. And you may find that there may be negative tags and maybe more positive tags. Essentially, where you're trying to go in life, you have established this association with these different tags in your life. And so again, subconsciously, you'll look for these different tags. And again, you will judge someone, whether you are conscious of that or not, on these tags. But again, you have to understand that people always have value. Everybody has something to bring to the table. People, again, are all wired very differently, so it's hard. Some people may be wired in a way where they can communicate a lot clearer, a lot better. Some people are not wired that way, but yet they can teach you the secrets of the world, right? And so this is where we have to try to eliminate those tags and try to essentially not guide our lives by those tags, as in trying to acquire specific tags so that we can show others our value, and realize that by eliminating the tags and just going after a skill, going after that judgment free of where that person's coming from, and trying to actually look for that person and what they can provide naturally, as opposed to maybe some tag or skill they may not actually have that can help you understand maybe where they're coming from. But to understand that you are there to learn from that person, and also understand that those skills that you, again, are trying to acquire, they don't identify you as who you are, because we can get wrapped up if we don't have specific tags associated with who we are. Our identity is, we feel like we are a lost cause, and it will stop us from doing specific things. And again, this is where this can be a real detriment to your life, because if you associate yourself with someone that fails consistently, that being a tag on your life, you aren't as apt to go out there and try to tackle something that you have not done before, right? You feel insecure about it. You feel like you are essentially, you have imposter syndrome because of this tag. And so you have this big cloud over your head that's essentially stopping you. But if you only knew that if you eliminated these tags, that you can make it happen. You have to realize that everybody fails. No one just gets it. Some people are wired a little bit better so they can maybe achieve stuff a little bit faster in some areas, not all areas, but in some areas. And again, there's a lot going on there. They could have failed millions of times, but you're only seeing them at their peak. And so by removing these tags, it kind of eliminates that stress that we have from stopping us to pursue those things that we want. So the next question we have here is, how do we remove these tags? Now, the first thing I actually want to talk about here when talking about tags and removing them is to address the one tag that is probably holding a lot of people back, and that is tags of failure, tags of a bunch of negative tags that have essentially held you back from going out and just going and getting those things that you want in life. And that is by essentially just doing it, eliminating the thought process. And Mel Robbins talks about this in some of her books. If you haven't checked out any of her books, she has that 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 rule, which I've read this in a bunch of other different books, so it's not just her. This is nothing new, but she comes at it in a good approach, in the fact that you want to eliminate that thought process, right? And if you can do whatever it is that you are thinking about, that you want to do, if you can execute some sort of physical motion, some action within 2 minutes of that thought process, that's what counts, right? And in Mel Robbins' rule, she counts 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then just executes. So you want to try to eliminate that thought process, and this will stop you from trying to apply tags about why you can't do it, right? Excuses, and that's essentially what these tags are. These negative tags are excuses on why you can't do something. So what you're going to have to do is eliminate that thought process, and the best way to do that is by not allowing that brain of yours to kick in and start looking for tags, and actually just start executing, whether that's jotting it down in your phone, writing it down, actually just going and do it, right? Maybe you are, I'm not the kind of person that works out, and then you have a thought, maybe I should take a walk today. Bam, you know what? Just go do it, and just start doing it. Start getting in motion. Once you start getting in motion, taking action, you realize that as long as you can stay in motion, it will get done. And then you eliminate that tag, and the next time you get held back by this tag, you have to realize that, hey, I know what to do. As soon as that thought process kicks in, I have a task today, I want to do this. I'm not gonna, start thinking, I'm just going to start executing. So I eliminate that tag, and it doesn't allow me to essentially procrastinate and think of all the reasons why I can't do it. I just start doing it. Now, another big thing here in talking about eliminating tags, especially when it comes to people. Now, when you are addressing someone, again, you essentially subconsciously start looking for these tags, and you have those filler questions about what you do, what do you like to do in your spare time, all these questions, right? So you're looking for tags, but instead of trying to associate those tags and have essentially descriptions of what those tags are and the value that they provide, just look, right? Just listen. Listen is the biggest thing, because a lot of times we try to answer before we even listen fully to somebody. And this is a big thing that I've touched on before, because it is extremely important. Instead of trying to apply tags and thinking that you know what's going to come out of that person's mouth, you have to sit there and listen. You have to absorb what they're saying and not think about what you're going to say next, but essentially table your thoughts. Become fully aware and engrossed of what that person is saying. You realize by doing this, you eliminate all tags, and you are in the conversation with that person. You are getting to know that person, and you are actually getting to understand what the knowledge and the experience that this person has, and that's what you're going for. And if you can, again, carry on a good conversation to where you start to digging for that person's essentially expertise in what they know, because everybody, again, has something to teach. If you could look for that and listen you realize that you eliminate those tags. You aren't shutting yourself off, because that is one of the biggest things, is you find some people close themselves off because of those tags associated with that person. Stop doing that. Listen to what they're saying. Pay attention to what they're saying. Don't worry about what tags that they have. Just listen. And you may find that you may learn something. You may learn a new perspective or a new skill about doing something that you never thought you could learn. And that could possibly even change your life. So in removing tags, we can make our lives easier, whether that's on execution, whether that's on judging somebody. But these are ultimately the two things, the two tags we really want to remove in our life, and that really hold us back from knowing people, from understanding people, from understanding ourselves, from actually taking the steps to make progress in the direction that we want in our life. And we have to realize that all these different things, they take time. These are all building blocks. We all learn in a very unique way. And I've been reading this book called Livewire, which I'll do a book review on pretty soon. But the book gives a great example about the way our brains are wired. If you have ever seen that movie, The Matrix, in that movie, Neo doesn't know anything, right? He's fresh out of the Matrix. He doesn't know how the real world is working. And his associate essentially asks him, well, let's learn Kung Fu. And what does he do? He hijacks him into this cable in the back of his head and essentially uploads Kung Fu. Now Neo knows Kung Fu. The problem with that, with our real brains in real life, they will not work that way. We build off of our experiences. So we have to take these tags, we have to apply these things with our own experiences and build and try to associate what we already know and try to, again, eliminate some thought processes that we've had. So that's going to take effort on your behalf to rewire that part of your brain to eliminate these tags. And again, the more you apply this, the more you try to do this, you'll find that the better you are at it. There's no way you're going to sit here and pick this up, be jacked into, a keyboard and realize that you can just upload and all of a sudden you can eliminate tags and you will, you'll be right with the world, right? Like, you won't be judging anybody on tags. You won't have any of these tags stop you from doing things. Ultimately, we realize that we have to build a skill up to eliminate and remove these tags. So if you did enjoy this video, remember to hit the like button on the way out, and remember to share this video so we can get the word out and build this community of people that are trying to improve themselves, have the Ignite mindset to go out and improve their lives in which way they see fit. So until next time, I will see you guys later.